I guess probably the best opening statement I could say is, you know, how proud I am of our football team. You know, the growth that they're making every single week. And we said at the start of the season that it's going to be try to get better every single week. Don't worry about last week, worry about this current game. And the work that they put in, you know, in the 2 weeks, the off week and then coming back, you could tell that we were going to have a good performance. The preparation was outstanding. The kids practiced extraordinarily well last week and this week. And when the game went on the line last night, we talked in the hotel room. We talked about the fact that you never know in a game who's going to have an opportunity to make the play that makes a difference in the game. And it could be a tackle and a punt or a kickoff. And tonight, I mean, two of the biggest plays in the world were obviously was Maurice Alexander on the two-point play. When the two-point play, they sniffed it out, they defended it, and it absolutely had no chance to be successful. And his creativeness of obviously having been a quarterback before, to keep the play alive, to scramble around in the pocket, for Tony Gator to uncover himself. I mean, that was a huge play because obviously taking a three-point lead made it where they were going to have to score a touchdown or kick a field goal to try to send it into overtime. And then Olin Cushing's play at the end of the game on fourth down, his ability to be disciplined, because those are the things that had beaten us in other games. A little bit in the Miami game, certainly some of the games last year where guys in the secondary would come out of coverage when there's a scramble. And the lesson you got to learn is it's plaster, plaster, plaster. Get on your guy. He can't run 50 yards, but he can throw it 50 yards. And Olin staying and being disciplined in the middle of the field. Then when the ball was overthrown, then he made a great play. I was proud of the defense. The first half we had some struggles with the quarterback power. It's one of those schematic things that if you get in multiple personnel wide receivers, you got to cover those guys down, and the box count is against you. And if the quarterback isn't a runner, the box count's even. But if the quarterback is going to let the offensive guard be a puller and maybe the back be another lead blocker, you don't have enough guys, because if you put people in the box, then you don't cover all the wide receivers and stuff. And so guys have got to play well. They got to take on blocks. They got to get off of blocks. They got to get 2-for-1 trade-offs and not let one guy block, you know, or let two guys block two guys. So as I said, I was very, very proud of the way that our kids competed and the way that they played. James Morgan, I think, you know, we said it at the start of the season that the one thing you didn't know until we started playing games whether or not this would actually become true. But we felt like that when we made the decision for him to be the starting quarterback over Christian, physically and athletically and arm strength and a lot of things, it was unbelievably close. But James is having had starts at Bowling Green and having played in some big games, playing against Big Ten teams, playing against Michigan State and some of those, that you felt like at some point that would pay dividends, that his composure and his poise, you know, when things are tight and the game's close. And I think today was a great example of that. I mean, he stood in the pocket, he took some hits and still made some throws down the field. And I thought his play was extremely well. So a good win for the team, and I thought, you know, in all three phases that our kids played well.
Coach, Olin's interception really capped off a really cool period of growth for your secondary, which
yeah.
You kind of mentioned at the beginning of the year. It's a lot of new guys.
All new.
How have they grown?
Yeah, you know, I think, you know, whether they're first-year starters or guys that have played a little bit, you know, you expect your football team, honestly, you hope week 1 to 2 they get really good, 2 to 3 you get better and better, and as the season goes along, I mean, this secondary, I mean, all 8 of the guys that are playing didn't play any. I mean, all 4 starters, they graduated, and they played the lion's share, and so they've gotten better. You know, our corner rotation with Ike Brown and Stanley Thomas and Emmanuel Lubin, those 3 guys rotating, keeping guys fresh. They're tall, they're lanky, and they're tackling good, and they're doing a good job on coverage and stuff. Probably the biggest growth, and it's got to continue, the biggest growth and the biggest concern at the start of the season was the safeties, because they hadn't played at all. And, you know, getting Rashad Dames to come in and play as a safety, getting Dorian Hall to come in and play. I mean, he didn't play any last year. He didn't play on special teams. And they continue to get a little bit better, gain some confidence, and believe in themselves.
It was in the middle of Tennessee's recent performances, victories against FIU.
Yeah.
How defining is this?
Well, I don't know if it's. I mean, it's just every season's different. I mean, the chemistry of your team, the leadership of your team, the teams that play. I mean, people always used to ask, "Oh, you've got a 10-game winning streak." Well, none of these guys played 10 years ago. They don't even know who played. But it's respect, and I guarantee you, our kids had ultimate respect for Middle Tennessee. They're very well coached, and you've seen the wins. I mean, they went on the road and they won at Marshall, where they had not won ever in the history of their school. And you know that they've got some talented players, and you've got to play hard every play.
C.J. Wharton hauled in the game-leading touchdown.
Yeah.
Kind of take us through that play and how it was just such a momentum change.
Yeah, he has become kind of a little bit of kind of like that guy that's just unbelievably dependable. I mean, he had a big game, even though we didn't win, but he had a big game against Miami. He had 125 yards on 5 catches and stuff. And every week, I mean, his route running, his composure, his hands in traffic. I mean, a lot of guys, they catch everything on the perimeter. They'll catch it deep. They'll catch it on the outside. He'll catch it over the middle. I like the way that he's playing, but I will say this too, that for the first time tonight, we had just about everybody at the wide receiver position available. Bryce Singleton, who played a lot at the end of last season, was available to play, and he made some big catches. Shamar Thornton came in, who played really, really good at the end of the season last year. This is the first time for him to get a chance to come in, and he made some big plays and stuff. And so, the man-to-man route that he won for the touchdown, I mean, you could just see him catching the ball and the burst and his ability to split the defenders and run away from them. And it was good having those two guys back.
Speaking of first coming back, is there any new news on Jones and Vershawn?
Well, Mershawn, is probably the least likeliest. We're hoping to get him back playing and practicing football maybe the last month. They're about maybe a week to 10 days away from putting his arm in a cast, which would allow him then to be able to come back in. He'd have 5 or 6 weeks for the bones to heal and the wounds and stuff. Anthony has been running a lot. He's been doing some of the individual drills. He has yet to put on a uniform or anything. But you knock on wood and you hope we'll see him, I think, before the season's over with. I'm not a doctor, and I'm not going to reach out and say, well, this is the week, and then if it isn't, then it looks like I didn't know what so we just wait on Kevin O'Neill, the trainer, and Keith Eggman, our head of medical, and let them decide when he's going to be back. But he is doing some football-related stuff during the week.
Piggybacking off his question, how is this situation kind of fuel the team, kind of help them in some way, get their mindset right in some ways, or just done anything?
Yeah. You talk about with the two individuals or with the entire team?
As the team.
Yeah, you know what? I mean, I do. I think that, I think that last year, this is hard to believe, but I think last year, the week that we spent in Birmingham, Alabama, I think that was a cohesive bonding experience because our kids, they had no friends except for the guys on the team. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Well, we were there for 9 days, and there was a lot of bonding because, it was a new team, new coaching staff and stuff. And I think this year, I think guys, I think they start to realize and treasure, life, treasure your teammates, and thank God both of them survived this, and they're going to be around for a long time. But I think it helped everybody understand how much these guys actually care and love for each other. Anybody else? All right. Man of the hour.